Greetings! In behalf of QHSA Department, we would like to welcome you all on this awareness session regarding our integrated management system. This awareness session will give us an overview about IMS and its implication to our organization. This session has 5 objectives. First, an insight about IMS and how it helps roots in its operations. We will discuss briefly about the history of ISO and how it became a fundamental entity that helps the organizations worldwide. Our second objective is to discuss the benefits and positive impacts of IMS to our organization. Third is to be able to explain the content of ISO 9001:2015, ISO 14001:2015, and ISO 45001:2018 clauses in reference to Annex XL of ISO standards. Our fourth objective is to focus on 2 simple exercises that will give us a clearer picture how our IMS works in relation to our regular tasks, processes, and procedures. And lastly, we would like you to learn about our IMS manual, the different procedures, and some of the forms. So what is ISO? ISO in English term stands for International Organization for Standardization. It is ISOS in Greek, which means equal. It is not an acronym and pronounced as ISO and not as ISO. Its humble beginning started in 1926, having the name of International Federation of National Standardization Association, or ISA. Its primary function is to be responsible in the fields of non-electrical technologies with 14 countries as founding members. Unfortunately, the World War II in 1942 halted the operations of ISA. When World War II ended, ISA had been reorganized in 1946. In the same year, ISA was approached by United Nations Standards Coordinating Committee, or UNSCC, with a proposal to form a new global standards body. They had a 25-country delegate and had agreed to join forces and create the International Organization for Standardization. Hence, in 1947, the organization officially began its operation. So ISO is an independent, non-governmental organization which brings together experts to share knowledge and develop international standards that provide solutions to global challenges. As of present, they have more than 22,000 standards developed. In brief, ISO provides a platform for developing practical tools through common understanding and cooperation with all stakeholders, as well as representing global networks of national standard bodies with 1 representative per country. In short, ISO standards help, first, make products compatible so that they can fit and work well with each other. Second, identify safety issues of products and services. And third, share good ideas and solutions, technological know-how, and best management practices. Maybe we can ask ourselves now, is ISO also applicable to our daily life? Yes. For example, for the paper sizes that we are using. Paper sizes makes our life easier because it is applicable for any printer, photocopier, and office supplies. This also includes to manufacturers because they know that their products will work well with the available paper format. Another example, the food we purchase is safe to eat. We are thankful for the internationally agreed hygiene and safety requirements outlined in the standards. I'm pretty sure that you are also familiar with the credit cards or ATM cards. They are being used everywhere because they meet the standards that specifies dimensions, technology, and communication protocols. Now let's proceed to integrated management system. As the word suggests, it denotes that IMS integrates an organization's systems and processes into 1 complete framework, thus enabling it to work with a single unit of unified objectives, processes, and methodologies. Why IMS? Some companies are looking for certified IMS organization. In addition to this, stakeholders, clients, and customers prefers organizations which are certified in IMS already. Another important factor is that many organizations have now realized the importance of the essential elements of a business, such as quality, environment, occupational health and safety, as well as information security and other management systems. Now let's go to the disadvantages of having an independent management system. 1. It is costly. If you have 3 standards, you have to pay separately on the cost of recertification and surveillance audit processes. You will also have a separate audits and separate audit reports. Another disadvantage of having an independent management system is duplication. Example, you have one health and safety management system manual and you have one quality management system manual. However, some of the contents of these are identical or even the same. But since they are a separate management system, we have to maintain both of them. In an independent management system, there is a burden of referring to multiple documents. The forms, procedures, and work instructions are separated. For example, in quality management system, they have their own form for non-conformance report or NCR. The same is being utilized for health and safety management system. Hence, you need to utilize 2 different forms and refer to 2 different procedures in order to address issues with the same nature or source. Conflicting objectives, responsibilities, and communications is apparent in independent management system because some objectives in health and safety may not be aligned to quality or the other way around. Now let's move to the benefits and advantages of integrated management system. IMS follows the plan, do, check, act principle or the PDCA cycle, and there is a cohesiveness in structure and approach. Because of this, there is a common terms and common resources that it's applicable on the 3 standards that Roots subscribe. IMS is user-friendly as it establishes the consistency of all forms, procedures and steps, and how to implement it, thus allowing for more efficient actions and makes objectives easier to understand. One of the most common benefits of IMS is that you can treat the different systems as a whole. The processes, procedures, reports are similar to all systems. For example, you can treat training, document control, and quality assurance on a single level despite they are coming from different systems. This in return eliminates redundancy and the unnecessary costs. IMS also focuses its shifts offering values to customers. When the system works together, they strive to optimize resources and push towards perfection in delivering services. Furthermore, IMS facilitates the decision-making capability among stakeholders. With bureaucracy among the team members reduced, everyone can strive the betterment of the system as a whole. Now let's discuss the PDCA cycle and the clauses of the standards. As we have mentioned earlier, the clauses of these 3 standards are the same, which composes of clause number 4, the context of organization, the plan clauses, which includes clause number 5, leadership, clause number 6, planning, and clause number 7, support. The do clause, which includes clause number 8 or operation, the check clause or clause number 9, performance evaluation, and the act clause, which is clause number 10, improvement. As seen in our presentation, there is an activity of operation of CNC machine. Now the question is, would you be able to identify on this type of activity how are you going to integrate quality, health and safety and environment? The picture on your left demonstrates to produce a quality product which is related to quality. In an operation of CNC machine, there is a chance that we are generating some wastes. Hence, in terms of our environment, you have to ensure that you are not producing excessive waste. This is depicted in picture at the middle. It is a requirement that an operator of a CNC machine should be trained and they have to have their PPE when they are operating it. Thus, in terms of health and safety, we have to ensure that the workers are not to be exposed to injury. In this example, what is the picture depicting all about? Would you be able to identify how are you going to integrate quality, health, and safety and environment? The picture illustrates the different aspects of doing the piping work. In terms of quality, you have to ensure that the pipe should not leak, isn't it? As you can see in the middle picture, there are a lot of dust accumulated in the work area. Hence, in terms of environment, you have to reduce this because this is an environmental pollution. The third picture depicts that the worker should not be hurt, and this is included as part of our requirement in health and safety. Now let's discuss in brief the contents of our Integrated Management System Manual. To begin with, let's discuss our IMS policy. IMS policy serves as a guiding mechanism for a continual improvement in quality of products and services while protecting the surrounding and environment as well as the people. These are very essential for the long-term success of a business. Our IMS policy sets out a general approach to quality, environment, and health and safety. It explains how Roots Energy will manage quality, environment, and health and safety in the business. It clearly states who does what, when, and how, and most importantly, states commitment and direction from the top management at all levels of the organization, and it is signed by the general manager. Now let's discuss the content of clause number 4, which is context of the organization. Internal and external issues. Internal and external issues does not mean they are problems, but rather it means they are elements that could have an impact on Roots business operations. It has relevance to its purpose and strategic direction, as well as its ability to achieve the intended results of our integrated management system. In addition, the needs and expectation emphasizes how much these agents relates to the organization, hence giving impacts to our management system and which are relevant decisions we can make in the near future. It also helps to reduce the risk level and exploit opportunities to drive the business successfully. Do you think that leadership is very important in our management system? Yes. Leadership is an essential part of our IMS management system because attitudes towards quality, health, and safety are determined by the top management. The strong and active leadership integrates our QHSE with the business decisions. It demonstrates commitment with respect to our IMS and ensures that objectives are established and compatible with the strategic direction of Roots Energy. Clause 5.5 of our manual speaks about consultation and participation of workers, particularly the appointment of workers' representative. Workers are fundamentally the most valuable asset of the organization, and they are the group that we are aiming to protect. It is very essential to draw on their understanding, knowledge, and views. Workers will cooperate more willingly if they understand and what are the intended purpose of their opinions, and their knowledge have been aired and listened to. Clause number 6 is all about planning. To conform to the requirements of the standards, Roots needs to plan and implement actions to address risk and opportunities. Addressing both risk and opportunities establishes a basis for increasing the effectiveness of the IMS, thus achieving an improved results and preventing negative effects. Subsequently, objectives and targets helps Roots to evaluate its performance in IMS. The setting of objectives means we are able to assign individuals in our organization with specific targets and objectives and something measurable to refer to when we are reviewing our performance. Another important content of our IMS manual that we wanted to share with you is the compliance obligations or legal requirements. Implementing a compliance procedure is critical in ensuring compliance with regulatory requirements. Therefore, it helps to reduce the legal risk that the business might face in its operations and can help to build a positive brand image. Examples of the legal requirements that Roots prescribes is given on the slide. For example, Qatar labor law. Now let us discuss competence. What is competence? Competence is defined as the ability to apply knowledge and skills to achieve intended results. It enables leaders to identify strengths and weaknesses in the behaviors that affects on how the work is completed. In addition, They also help to clarify expectations in a way that opens the employee's eyes to the personal barriers that stop them from reaching their full potential. As you can see, Clause 7.3 of our IMS manual speaks about awareness, which helps on how to improve the competence of our employees. Another part of our IMS manual is all about documented information. As you can see, Roots maintains tier of documented information, which is broke down into 4 groups. First is manual, second is procedure, third is work instruction, and fourth is forms, files, and records. Likewise, in reference to our document control and records maintenance procedure, Roots maintains a specific format of its footers with respect to SOP, to its work instructions, and to its forms. Hence, the practice of maintaining accurate documented information alone provides an accessible, manageable framework for addressing issues that benefits over time. It ensures consistency, efficiency, and standardization. As a conformance to the requirements of the standards, we have also to control our documented information. This refers to informations that must be controlled and maintained. It is utilized as evidence of conformance, provides consistency on how a process is executed, improves training, as well as preventing loss of knowledge. For example, a blank form is called document. Once this blank form has been filled up, this becomes a record and this needs to be controlled and retained. Hence, documentation shows both employees and customers that we are committed in safeguarding critical information and are dedicated to provide stakeholders with factual information as needed. Another part of our IMS manual is all about operational planning and control, which is a critical function of our IMS management system. It comprises of our daily activities around management system and having an adequate plans in place to ensure that they are controlled properly. This allows business assets properly safeguarded in order to stay ahead of our statutory and other regulatory requirements on which the organization prescribes. How does Roots evaluate its performance with respect to IMS? Section 9 of our manual speaks about performance evaluation. Performance evaluation provides a stepping stone for the organization to identify and discuss areas where performance can be improved. Moreover, it could also be an avenue of opportunity for the organization where expectations are reinforced and clarified. As you can see, we have also presented to you some examples of our graphical representation as means of our performance evaluation. These are being gathered regularly by our department and the results are being submitted to the top management. Our organization also conducts management review. Management review is a systematic assessment to measure the effectiveness of our integrated management system. The ISO standard requires management review because they ensure that the management system remains focused on the direction of the business and continual improvement. In addition, the issues or discussions revolving around on that event is basically coming from the management review inputs and management review output in the form of agenda. As mentioned in the previous slides, Roots Energy gives value to its workers as its best asset. We empower and motivate them. We believe that motivation is considered to be a critical aspect in any workplace because it clearly gives an enhancement of performance individually and as a company as a whole. To balance the motivation and empowerment, Roots Energy also gives emphasis on proper work ethics, decorum, and attitudes while at work. Discipline is very important in the workplace because it helps leaders to ensure that the workers adhere to established company rules and policies. Section 11 of our manual speaks about disciplinary and punishment procedure, wherein the category of breaches and warning letter form will be discussed thoroughly during HSE induction, internal awareness session, and special toolbox talks. Therefore, All workforce are expected to comply with the all company, government, and client rules, policies, standards, and practices. Now that we have come to the end of our discussion, let us summarize our key takeaway on this presentation. Integrated management system harmonizes and optimizes practices and processes inside the system. It eliminates or reduces the conflicting responsibilities and relationships, reduces risk and increase profitability. It balances conflicting objectives. And lastly, it reduces duplication of efforts and therefore the cost. Allow us to end this presentation by saying, thank you very much, God bless, and be safe always.